welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all okay. I am Nicola and this is my little corner on the internet where I talk about everything that I have been making. So yeah, today is Sunday the 16th of July, which means that the boys are home. So if you do hear any noise, it is those probably messing around downstairs. Yeah, I think it's been about 3 weeks again. Sorry. It is a bit warm and muggy today, so I'm not wearing any knitwear. So we'll just go straight into finished objects. Now this is one I don't think I spoke about last time because it wasn't a thought, but yeah, so you know how I did the tiger for Joseph's teacher? Well, I had thought that the key rings that we'd got through the teachers that Oliver would want to give those out at the end of term, but he's given those out already, so it's going to look like I've not given his teacher a present. So I have made her a little axolotl stress ball. I don't know how well I had made a bigger version of this for Oliver, and I think I have shown that previously on the podcast. So it's the same pattern and it's by Gikurumi. Yeah, Gikurumi, which is a paper pattern but it's not on Ravelry. Yeah, so I've not quite knit this to pattern because it's supposed to be a bit bigger on a bigger hook, because it's supposed to be with, I think, Aran weight yarn, but I have obviously done this with it's the 4-ply. So it's made using some leftover cotton yarns that I had. So the pale pink is the Katona from Shepier's yarn, and then the dark pink is from the Rikurumi brand of cotton yarn. But yeah, so I did her a mini stress ball axolotl to match the one that Oliver's got. Yeah, because his whole class know that axolotls are his favourite animal, and I couldn't find, so the classes at the lads' school are all based on animals, and Oliver's in peregrine falcons, and I couldn't find a pattern for that, so that is why she's got a little axolotl. And again, so obviously because I've used a thinner yarn, I've not used the recommended hook size. It's a while ago I finished this now, but I think it was a 2.5mm crochet hook that I used. Yeah, it was really quick. I think I did it in one day, because it doesn't, obviously it's really tiny, so it doesn't take a lot of doing. And yeah, so that will be gifted by the end of this week, because this week is the last week of school for the lads for this school year. Yeah, so I have one more finished object, and you'll be ever so surprised to know that it is a pair of socks. And here they, well, that's just one of them, there are two, but I will hold just the one up for now. So this was a work in progress last time, I believe. So as normal, cast on 64 stitches, and I used the 2.25mm needles, now each circular, and I did 16 rounds of 2x2 twisted rib in this purpley yellowy colour, and that is from Ducky Darling's The Lilac Cottage, and I have striped that with a grey from Blue Fern Yarns, and I did 4 rounds of each colour, so per stripe, and so I've done 2.5 stripes, so 10 rounds total before doing the heel, which is the Eye of Partridge heel that was in the Kay the Crazy Sock Ladies pattern, the Follow Your Path pattern. And so yeah, so it's in the middle of a stripe, the heel is, and then went back to striping down the foot and gusset decreases, and I had worked it out right that it would end on a grey stripe, so I've got the Lilac Cottage on the toe. But yeah, I'd taken these on holiday with me because we went camping in Sandringham a couple of weeks ago now. Yeah, so I'd finished one sock, I think, before we left, so I only had one sock left to do, but I'd forgotten to bring any needles or scissors. So when I got to the end, I couldn't finish them, but I'll show you. So it meant I had to get a couple of extra acquisitions whilst we were down there that are really cute, so I'll show you those at the end. But yeah, so I was able to finish these when we got back. So that is those. I don't think there's anything else about those. Oh, there's another pair of shorty socks that I can start wearing now that I've been itching to. So moving on to works in progress, and I will start with one that I'm sure you're getting a bit bored of, because I'm getting a bit bored of the fact that I've not finished it, and it is my Cumulus top, which should have been finished, but I fell out with it again. So I followed to the pattern, well, largely I followed to the pattern. I'm using, let's backtrack. So I am using the Filcolana Mercy 50% Superwash Merino and 50% Pimo Cotton, which is really nice. So yeah, the start of the pattern I followed, so you cast on the 4 triangles separately, and then you join, you cast on a few stitches for the middle of the front and back and the underarm, but I didn't do quite as many under the underarm because when I tried it on before it came a bit too low for my liking, so I cast on less and then I increased once it was in the round, and then I knit for as many inches as it tells you to in the pattern, which goes from the top, so the top of the triangle down to the bottom, which is here, and then you do a purl ridge, knit a bit more, and then sew the ends down to make a folded hem. And so I've done all of that all the way to pattern, and I've tried it on, and it's just a little bit, let me see if that should be the front. These are just the cast on tails that are at the end that I've just knotted together to keep them, so I know where that is. So I'll show you what I mean. So the top part of it I'm really happy with, that I don't want to change, it's just the length. So if I stand up, you won't be able to see because I'm wearing like a t-shirt dress, but it comes, it's like my belly button's there, and it comes literally not far over it, so I do want to add some extra length to the top, just because I think I'll feel uncomfortable with it. It's not quite at the right place, and that's why I fell out with it, because it's going to mean I have to undo all of the bind off and then knit a few more inches into it again. It's not hard, it's just, yeah, you know how some projects get, you think you're finally going to finish it and then something else comes up. Not that the weather's been particularly great and is making me want to wear it, so that's probably got a lot to do with the why I haven't finished it either. And it seems to be, I don't know, I'm going to have to bind it off differently, because can you see the end keeps flipping up, and I think that's because how I've bound it off, I've gone through one of the purl stitches on the back and knitted that stitch with the next stitch together before you then wrap the first stitch over. You know how to bind off. But yeah, so I've done that, and I think that's causing it to roll up quite badly. So I think I'll have to actually do a sewn bind off as well, which I think is putting me off as well. And then I'll have to pick up all the stitches around the top and do the I-cord. So although it doesn't look like there's a lot left, there's a lot of work left in this one, which I think, yeah, it's probably why I'm not so keen to pick it up. Yeah, so that I used the recommended needles, so 3mm for the body and the 2.5 for the I-cord. Yeah, and that's a Cumulus top by Petite Knit. Yeah, so that is that one. Oh, so I forgot, for finished objects, because it's not here, we did have some very exciting news. Our nephew was born on the 9th of July. And I'd sort of been back and forth in my head about making him a jumper or anything like that. And then he was born and I got a bit excited. So I have made him a jumper, and that was using the Flax Light pattern, although I omitted the garter ridge down the arms. And I used the Filcolana Arvetta. So I'd done most of it in this mid-grey colour. And then I'd done thin stripes with the off-white. So there's about 10 rounds of the grey, 2 of the white going down to make him a nice striped grey jumper. But I forgot to take any pictures before I took it round. And I don't have any at the minute. So I've got no photo to show you, but there was an extra finished object that's not been seen that I have done. And I didn't quite follow the pattern because I think it says to use 3.75mm needles. And I think it was 3.25 I ended up using, because I find the fingering weight yarn on the 3.75 is a bit too open for a garment. I think for a shawl it'd be absolutely fine, but for a garment, like especially a jumper, you don't want the air to get through. So that was a finished object. Back to works in progress. I have very nearly finished my Spiraling Cables Triangle Shawl by Stephen West. So, yeah, so it's getting really big now. Oh, it's so squishy. I can't wait to block it and see how much it will grow then as well, because it is quite big. But I feel like because it's merino, superwash merino, it should grow quite a lot. Yeah. So this is, I'm following the pattern. I'm using the 4.5mm needles, and so for the main colour I am using Drops Merino Extra Fine Mix, and that's 100% wool, which is a superwash merino, made a grey kind of colour. And then for the contrasting colours I am using the leftover scraps from an advent calendar I got from Giddy Yarns, the Narnia one, which was 2021 advent calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm on to the 11th colour on the contrast. Yeah, so where is it? So this little leaf here, just as I was about to finish the green, is where I was last time, and I have knit all of that since I last spoke to you. And I believe, so 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm on to the final 24 repeat of this section where it goes a bit more diamondy, and then I believe it's just the edging. I'm not sure, I've not actually looked that far on, but I think that's what it is. And yeah, I think that'll be, oh yeah, I think that'll be really cute when it's done that way. So hopefully. Yeah, really enjoying it. So on where the stripy bit is, I got to the point of where I knew what I was doing just about, and I just had to start to pay attention when I knew that there was going to be a new stripe of the main colour added in, like the twisting. But for this bit, I am having to pay a bit more attention to the pattern, mostly at the beginning, to know how many I need to knit and slip and stuff before the start of the row. So it takes a little bit more thought. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that because we've seen it before. Yeah, how many of the little ones have I got? So I've only got 1, 2, is it 2? Yeah, I'm using that one. So I've only got 2 colours that I've used previously in a pair of socks that I made. I made some DK weight socks with the colours that I've used so far. And they're both blue, so I'll probably only use one of those, and then if I still need more, I think I'll pick one out of here, because I've got loads that haven't been balled up yet that I've not used. Just because I'm not sure. Well, I suppose it wouldn't be too bad, because we're getting to the point of now where I'm only doing, I think there was only 4 stripes of the contrast colour by this point. So I might be able to use both to make it a bit of a bigger stripe, because they are very similar. I suppose I could alternate them. No, that would be too much faffing, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, so those will be the last 2, and then if I need any more I'll have to just pick a random one out of here. I've tried not to do it in any particular kind of order, but I didn't want it all one colour in one area. It's like a brownie one, and so can you see there's not too many like colours that are too similar next to each other. So we'll probably try and carry that on. But yeah, I've been really enjoying that. And I've made a right mess here. Let's put that away. Then I have one more whip that I've been actually working on. So I'm not going to mention my stone crop because I've still not got onto the sleeves of those. All I need to do is pick up the sleeves and do them, and because they're short, like they'll be short rounds, it'll be quite quick to do, but I've just not picked them up. Anyway, so this is a brand new cast on since the last time I saw you, and it is using the Neon Storm colour that I got from the Buxton Wool Gathering from Attic Spin Dye, and that's 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. And then I'm also using this luminous corally colour, I think that's quite blown out, from Snuggly Stars yarn. That is, I don't know where the label for that has gone, but that's Snuggly Stars yarn. So I have cast on 64 stitches on a 2x2 rib for the cuff, and I've done 20 rounds on that, and then I did and then I did, I think 4 rounds plain stocking stitch, and then I've done 4 of the contrast colour, 3 of the main, 4, 3, 4, just so it looks a bit like a sports sock, which I think is quite cute. And I've done a total, I think, of 50 rounds for the leg, and I'm just starting, you can see a tiny teeny bit, just starting the slip stitch heel flap. And they are being knit on my trusty 2.25mm 9-inch circular needles, higher sharps. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else. Socks are socks, aren't they? I'm not doing a pattern just because I wanted to see the full effect of this yarn, because I think it is so. Is it even working? Should I try? That's not going to focus, is it? There you go. Is it going to refocus on me? Tried to sit a bit further away this time, but it means I can't really see the display, so I'm sorry, I may have to refilm this if it turns out that you can't actually see anything. Yeah, so that's those, and that's in the Woolly Tangle sheet bag that I got at the same festival, Buxton Wool Gathering. I'm not, because obviously it is so tiny, I'm not keeping that in with the socks because I just need it for the stripes, so yeah, only the main colours live in that bag. That is, my goodness, it's really raining now. Welcome to British summer. Oh, label, put that away. Oh, I think I've tripped it out by tapping the screen. Yes, so as we went to Sandringham camping, I did a quick Google search of any yarn shops that might be nearby where we were staying, and I found one that looked really cute. It was, I think, Venetia's yarn shop. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, and I'm really sorry if I've got it wrong. But that is in Fakenham. So there was a few other bits that Rob and the boys wanted to have a look at. Sorry, which meant that I could persuade them to go and have a look in the yarn shop. And I did feel a little bit daunted because as I walked in there was like a knit group or lesson or something going on, and I felt a bit like I was intruding, but the lady on the counter was really friendly and was really helpful. Asked like, oh, are you looking for anything in particular? And obviously I was looking for a souvenir, so she has one of the walls there's a wool that is, I believe, the sheep or they're spun or something in Norfolk, and then one was Blue Fern Yarns, which I think she's in Norwich, so in Norfolk as well, so a local dyer. And so I picked up a skein of yarn as a souvenir, and it is this one. I'll come a bit closer. A bit on. Let me see. Yeah, so that is called Speckled Egg, which I think is beautiful. Like a robin's egg or something. It's lovely. I love that. And that is on her classic sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 425 metres per 100 grams. Yeah, so that is that one. Now last year I had, when we went down to Devon, I had picked up a souvenir yarn then, but I'd just knit on it straight away because obviously I wasn't filming at that point. So I would have cast this on were I not waiting to show all of you. Because, what did I take? Oh, yeah, so, talk about that in a second. So as I bought this and I said that I couldn't finish my shorty socks because I've forgotten my needle, my darning needle and scissors, I did pick up a pair of these folding scissors. They are the Knit Pro Mindful, and they just fold out like that. That bit always makes me nervous in case I'm going to stab myself, but I haven't yet. There's those, they come in a really nice little bag that has already been, that's my notebook, has already been taken for holding the lighters in the camping box that we have. So I did buy those, and I did ask for like a darning needle so I could Kitchener the toe of my sock. But this was the needle that she sold me, and I didn't see it before I left the shop, and it was too big, which is why, look at that, it's huge. That's not going to go through the toe of my sock. But it was only 30p, so I'm not overly bothered, and you always need needles, but that meant I didn't actually finish the socks whilst we were away. Even though I got to the point of where I just needed to Kitchener the second toe, I couldn't. Oh yeah, did I say I did the folded? I folded the cuff on this. Let me see. So I folded it, and so the cast on edge down after. Just because I found, like, the last two shorty socks that I've made, I did just a 10 by 10 round 2 by 2 rib. And I found they don't stay up as well as the shorty socks that I did that I've done a folded cuff and sewn it down, so that helps to hold them in place. So I think that will be my go-to now for shorty socks. And then I did get another acquisition whilst on holiday, so I'm just getting all the stuff out so I can show you. We went round a garden centre and I found, it's the Rendale Designs, this cute little tin. It just got little robins on. So open the lid, so inside we've got this one. And then it's on the top of the lid. And then on the back. I love robins. Robins are my favourite birds, and so I couldn't leave that behind. I think that was £4.50 or something like that. Sorry, it's got all my little stitch markers. Oh, little stitch markers there. And my scissors. They were my acquisitions whilst I was on holiday. I've not bought anything else, I don't think, not that I can remember. Yeah, so that is everything. Doesn't seem like a lot for 3 weeks actually, although no, so had taken some, I had taken some knitting on holiday, which was obviously my socks, and then I had taken the merino bamboo 4-ply yarn, which I think was called Birthday Party from Giddy Yarns. I had taken that with me with the plans of making, is it Jessie May Designs, the summer secret crop top? But I had a right nightmare with it, so I cast on what I thought was for my size, and I thought it was going to be too small because I'd used smaller needles, and then so I wound it all back, cast on a different size, realised that I cast on a size that was too big. I worked it out wrong and I'd done one that was too big, it was going to be too big. So I didn't do an awful lot of knitting whilst we were away or anything to show for it. And then when we came back, I tried to add in some stripes, and it was just, because it's supposed to be quite big. I don't know, is it 6mm needles you're supposed to knit it on? So it's supposed, like, for 4-ply yarn, that's big needles. And it does suggest you can possibly use 4mm needles, which I did do, but that was still, for me, it still looked a bit too big for the gauge. Like, it wouldn't have been anything that I would have worn. So I got about this far with some stripes in. I've just ripped it all out and wound it back up again, and I'll use that yarn for something else. I'll probably get like a neutral yarn and have a 2-colour shawl or something, because I think the yarn's beautiful, and so I don't want it to be in something that I'm not necessarily going to wear, because with it only being one skein, you're supposed to be able to make it. It is quite cropped, and I'm just worried that if I make it as long as what I would actually want it and would wear it at that gauge, no. At the gauge that I would like, which is closer to like the Cumulus, there wouldn't be enough of it to make the top, and I wouldn't wear it if it was cropped. So yeah, so that did have knitting, but that's been ripped out, so there's nothing to show for that. Yeah, so that is everything. Just pick up my notebook. And I can't remember what stage we were at the last time I filmed. I think it was just before, so Oliver has had his final treatment now. We are waiting. Next week starts off all of his scans, just to see how well the treatments worked. He was able to go to his Leavers Disco. Some of the mums put on a Year 6 Leavers Disco, and we were all able to go, so me, Rob and Joseph all went as well. It was really nice seeing him. So he was up on the stage with all of his friends, jumping around. There was karaoke and singing, and it was brilliant. Really lovely to see them all together and him feeling well enough to join in. And then they did Year 6 production last week. Yeah, it was on Tuesday last week, so on the 12th they did the Year 6 production, and because obviously everything going on, his role was shared with another boy, so he did the afternoon performance and then this other lad did the evening performance. So we obviously went to the afternoon. Well, I went to both, but me and my husband went to the afternoon, and part of it was he had a solo singing. So he sang 2 verses and choruses and stuff by himself before the chorus girls came on to sing with him, and that was brilliant. There was lots of tears, like obviously because of all the other mums know him and all of that. They were all in tears as well, so it wasn't just me. It made me feel bad that it wasn't just me sat in the audience crying. But yeah, so that was brilliant that he was able to again take part in that. That honestly has been miraculous. We were told by the end of treatment not to expect too much from him, and that he'll probably feel really, really sick. And honestly, a lot of it, other than him getting a bit tired because he's doing a lot more than he's been used to for a long time, like, you wouldn't have any idea. So yeah, that was nice. And then at the back end of last week, he had his transition to big school. So he was there for 3 days, which again, I cried after he left on the Wednesday to go to big school. But he's enjoyed it. He's made loads of friends and they've been really great. Yeah, so this week is the last week of him being at primary school. Yeah. And then it's the summer holidays, and then we'll all be back in the swing of things back in September. But yeah, so it might become a bit more monthly, I think, might be a bit more realistic, especially when I'm back at university. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I've not done an awful lot of knitting because obviously we've been trying to get stuff moving on the house. So the lads' room is just about done. We've put up their bed. I think they just need wardrobes, but there's no point going and buying more furniture for the house whilst everything's still everywhere. We've just about finished the office room, which is nice. We just need to find some homes for places, but again, there's stuff everywhere. They are finishing grouting the kitchen tiles today, and then all the cabinets can move back in and the table can move back in and we can get stuff sorted in the living room. And it's starting to feel like the end's in sight, so hopefully we'll be back home by September. Especially for Oliver having to walk to school on his own. It'll be better there, because there's where we are now with the in-laws, although it's still the same town, it's twice as far to walk to the school that he's at from here than it is from our house. So yeah, we really need to be back by September, hopefully. Anyway, thank you for watching, and yeah, it really does mean a lot to get to catch up with you all every so often. Yeah, and take care. Until next time, happy making, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!